Hello, everybody, and welcome back to William's Return to Glory. In this episode, we are starting Season 3. We're going to be going through here and kind of seeing what's going to happen with the driver transfers and whatnot, but we got some stuff to do before then. Alright, so from the car screen, just kind of showing where we are currently. It still says we have the 8th best car, down on the engines, down on the gearboxes specifically. We're also down on the suspension and the rear wings. We're not going to be able to design any new parts, so we're just going to go through and put the best parts on currently. We're going to do... let's make him... Oh, what's that? There we go. Alright, so we're just going to go through and we're going to add even the illegal parts onto the cars, just because if they help with performance, that's just going to be good for us. We're not going to be able to improve anything at the moment. But we're just going to go through here, check the mail. We got an interview with F1. Guan Yuzhou's agent has been telling reporters all over town that you're interested in signing this client up next season. Is this true? No. And he is angered by my interview. Alright, so from the part improvement tab, we're just showing the 3 parts that we're going to focus on performance on before it locks the car. So we're going to go through this and move on to the next post-season thing to do. Alright, so from the mail, we got our prize money for 2023. Let's see how much we get. 78 million. Nice. Team boss of the season is us, which is great to see. And then also, driver of the year is Pierre Gasly. Here's our rules for the 2024 season. We have high deck tires, which means we'll do a little bit more pit stops. Safety car only. So any problems on track, we'll get safety cars. Refueling, we have to figure out how to do that correctly. So that'll be fun and or frustrating throughout the year. But yeah, we're going to be in a good place for next year, and hopefully goals-wise, I think we can potentially kind of get up in the top 5 a little bit, and be able to potentially get a podium. Alright, so we've just ticked over into the preseason. We have sponsors available that we are going to have to take because they're not going to run out before the season or before when we start doing driver signings. But slot 5, 3 available. Checking them out. We have Estrella Galicia, which looks like the best out of the current sponsors here. This would be cool to be able to hit with Richard Mille. But yeah, this 100,000 guaranteed, 2 million up front, and it's going to expire before the end of the season. Looks like the best deal. Alright, so here's your development for the next year's car. We got $19 million. So our choices, like I said, since we have Honda plastered on the car 2 different places, we have to go with Honda. It's going to bite us a little bit in the fuel efficiency category, but if you look, it's just a very slight difference between Mercedes, and at least we're going to get better improvability. Looking at the fuel supplier, we should go with Mobil 1 because that's they're associated in some form with Red Bull, but I guess we're going to go with just actually, we're going to go with Petronas because that's what we had on the car last year. Material supplier, I think we're going to have to go with we have to go with independent because Mercedes wouldn't supply a Red Bull team, so that's a bummer. And then your brake supplier, we're going to go with the highest we can get. But yeah, as you can see, we got decent improvability. We're just under 4 stars in each of these areas, so hopefully we're able to kind of get some of those dilemmas that help us improve these throughout the season, or through the preseason. So we're going to move on, and this will be our car for next year. The engine supplier, we got Honda, we got Petronas, we are our own material supplier, and we have the best Pirelli brake package. All right, so from the driver's screen, we do see here that we've got Alex Albon, 1 month left on his contract. We have Ayuma Iwasa with 1 month left as well. I am not going to keep either one of these drivers. Ayuma was just a replacement for when Pourchaire left, and I really feel like we can get somebody better than Albon, but yeah, we're just going to fire them right now. All right, so making a decision here on who I think we should sign. I do think I'll start with the reserve driver. Our reserve drivers is potentially looking at is someone like Timo Bernhard. He won the F2 title, and he's got really good stats. He's got really good feedback, so we could get him potentially for his feedback. You got Yuki Tsunoda, AlphaTauri driver. He's got financial backing. He's Japanese. He's part of the Red Bull driver program. We've got AlphaTauri on the car. We've got Honda on the car. So potentially that's a good tie there. You got Kevin Magnussen, who's currently injured, but really strong, experienced driver with good feedback. Potentially we could use him as our designated practice driver if we needed it. And then you got Jehan Daravala, another Red Bull Academy driver to pick from here. He, finished, I believe, fourth in the F2 title last year. So he, our F2 title in this simulation, he's right up there. He's got low stats, but he's, a good, reliable choice if we need one. But I really want to see if I can get Timo Bernhard. All right, so looking at Bernhard, he's got 100% marketability, all this stuff, and we're going to see if we can approach him. We cannot. All right, so choice number 2 for me is going to be Yuki Tsunoda. Ends up just being a good kind of driver to rely on, and with the financial backing, if we decide to put him in a couple practice sessions every year, that'll help our cash flow. But looking at the amount of cash we have, it's not too big of an issue. But yeah, we're gonna approach Yuki Tsunoda. All right, he's interested. All right, so we're gonna come up with reserve driver. We're gonna try to put him on a 2-year deal. We're gonna pay all of the release clause. Add a whole bunch of bonuses here because he's not gonna be able to do any of them. And then we're gonna look to see what the maximum is we can pay him. So maximum we can pay him is 25,000. So we'll start with about 18 with a 2-year contract, which is gonna end up being, almost, because it's end of 2023. Gotta essentially do this to lock him down for next season. So yeah, we're gonna send this through. All right, so I've gone through and removed everyone I was considering for reserve roles. I'll look here at everyone available. Carlos Sainz, he was kind of struggling at Ferrari. He wanted to leave earlier in the year, but that trait's kind of fallen off, and he's been able to kind of establish himself as a good second Ferrari driver. We unfortunately cannot approach him, so he is actually not an option, but definitely somebody I wanted to see here. We've got George Russell, 5-star potential, very good young talent, but he has been very lackluster compared to Lewis Hamilton this year in our simulation. So he has been kind of fallen off and, very much in reach of the McLarens, while Hamilton has been, fighting for the world championship. So he is on the cards. You've got Daniel Ricciardo, currently at Aston Martin, team that's absolutely flailing, was unable to score any points last year, which is unfortunate. 95% marketability, that's a plus. His feedback is high, so that'll help us during the practice programs, kind of making sure that we can get some good, tire data and setup stuff heading into the race. So he's an option that we have on the table. We got Sergio Perez, since we have signed on to Honda and AlphaTauri. It's definitely an option that we can put in our team and potentially put, through the paces here, especially with this 19 feedback of just helping us charge up to the front and potentially onto the podium. And then you have Valtteri Bottas. He has left F1 to go race in the WRC. Very good feedback. All his stats are pretty good. He's a 4-star rating, so he's not too big of an improvement over Albon, but he's still he's still F1 worthy in my opinion. But unfortunately, we cannot approach him, so he is not a viable option for us for next year. So out of the drivers available, George Russell, as cool as it would be to kind of get him back at Williams and kind of get a better shot at it, he's only had 1 year in the Mercedes. I don't feel like that's particularly a great move for him. Ricardo, he's had a fairly bad season, so I can see him coming to the likes of our team and being happy about that decision. But Sergio Perez, he is very talented, very good. He's actually been the closest to his teammate throughout the year out of everyone available. So I think we're going to approach Daniel Ricciardo for our Williams seat. All right, so Daniel has 2 patients, so we're going to have him on equal status. We're going to assign him to a 24-month contract. We're going to pay his release. We're going to add all these bonuses, and then we are going to go see what his maximum is for his salary. All right, so he has a 478,000 max. I can't see what we're paying Vettel, but we're gonna go look, see if we can maybe undercut him. I think if we just do 432, that's a fair starting point, because we can go up just a little bit, and then we should know whether or not we're going to be able to get him. So we're gonna send this offer right through. Alright, so from the driver's screen, we have not met terms with Tsunoda, so we're just going to try one more time. We're going to just give him max out money here. He's actually okay with his status. That's weird. Yeah, we're just going to send this offer on through. So from the driver's screen, we have good news. We have agreed terms with Daniel Ricciardo, so we can sign him to the Williams F1 team. Once again, from the driver's screen, we have agreed terms with our other driver, Tsunoda, who's going to be our reserve for the 2024 season. Alright, so from the mail screen, we have a dilemma. It is car improvability. If we pay $350,000, we will get 1 improvability, which is a kind of a duh situation, so we're going to go for it. Alright, so from the headquarters screen, we have just gotten the test track to the max level. We got a bunch of turns, we got a bunch of stuff going on here, but yeah, we're going to look at the new buildings that we have available, which are the road car factory and the theme park. We have $139 million. I do think the theme park is a little too much, too expensive, but I think we're going to build a road car factory, which would be cool to see. So we're going to build that and hopefully have that done by the end of the year. So from the mail screen, we have a dilemma about tire trade-off. Get -1 tire wear, but +1 heating. I'm not going to go for it. Alright, so from the mail, this is kind of funny. We can now spend $500,000 to get that tire heating, so we're going to take it. Alright, so we're going to paint the car now. Since we have Honda on the car, I think we're going to incorporate some Honda red, but we're going to keep kind of that Williams blue and lighter blue on the car, but I will be back once I have edited the livery. Alright, so since we have Honda on the car on the side here and on the rear wing, I decided to incorporate some red in. It's not perfect, but I just wanted to incorporate some of that red in. We got the blue still there, so this will be our livery for this year. Alright, so on the eve of preseason testing, I guess I can show you guys all the driver moves and stuff that have happened. So we are going to go to the team selection, and we're going to look at ours first. We signed Daniel Ricciardo, we took Yuki Tsunoda. Looks like Vettel's starting to regress a little bit, which is unfortunate, so potentially we could find ourselves promoting Yuki into the seat, or potentially even looking at another driver to take over Vettel's place. But yeah, so that's our team for this year. Looking forward at Red Bull, they stick with Verstappen and Perez, but they bring Albon on as their reserve driver. Mercedes have Russell Hamilton. They had Nick DeFries. Nick DeFries has left, and he's gone, so Frederick Vesti has taken over the reserve seat. Looking at McLaren, they stay the same lineup with the two main drivers, with Norris and Gasly, but they signed Pato O'Ward, who won those 11 out of 18 races in IndyCar the previous year. Looking at Haas, they have Guan Yu Zhou and Mick Schumacher. Zhou getting demoted to reserve driver status at Alfa Romeo last year, moving over, taking over Magnussen's seat, and partnering Mick Schumacher. We have Logan Sargent, the American, sitting in the reserve seat, so he's going to sit there for a little bit because it looks like his potential is not going to surpass Zhou or Schumacher's current ability. Looking at Ferrari, they have Leclerc and Sainz still, but they let go of Antonio Giovinazzi in favor of picking up 34-year-old Marcus Ericsson. Looking at Aston Martin, you have Oscar Piastri. They replace an Australian with an Australian to pair Lance Stroll, and they still keep Nicholas Latifi as a reserve driver. Looking at Alpine have Théo Pourchaire moving over from Alfa Romeo after they got him mid-season. You have Fernando Alonso sticking it at the team. You have Jack Doohan still sitting in the reserve seat. They missed out on Piastri, and they have Ocon gone, so they went and picked up another Frenchman. Looking at AlphaTauri, you have Dennis Hauger still at the team. You have Liam Lawson going from reserve status at Red Bull to a full-time driver at AlphaTauri, so he should be a good debutant this year. You have Jehan Daravala sitting on the bench. Yeah, finishing decently in F2 last year, but does not get the seat over Hauger, who did a very, very good job last year. Looking at Alfa Romeo, you have Robert Schwartzman retaining his seat that he got midpoint through the year. Esteban Ocon moves from Alpine to Alfa Romeo. Dan Ticktum, highest up of the young guys in F2, getting the reserve seat at Alfa Romeo. All right, so now that we've seen the teams, we're going to move on to preseason testing. All right, so I know these aren't good indicators of everything that can happen throughout a season, but man, Lance Stroll from no points. I don't even think he got points his first year that we did the simulation. He finishes first preseason testing. You got Schwartzman, Lawson. So yeah, Lawson doing a good job being fourth. That's weird. Why Schumacher's third, but behind Lawson. Lawson doing a good job being in fourth. The other F1 rookie, Piastri, 13th. A couple places off of his teammate. We are 8th and 11th. This grid is all jumbled up. I don't know what is it average speed that determines the lineup? Yeah, I think it's average speed, so they're going off of your average speed. Yeah, at the bottom, you have Norris, Perez, Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc. So you got a bunch of major contenders down here. You got Hamilton and Russell kind of in the middle. I don't think this is going to carry over to performances for next year, but this is definitely something interesting to see. All right, so looking at the mail, we have a target update from Yost Capito, our team principal, or chairman. I would like to say fifth, but with how badly we fell off at the end of last year, I'm concerned that we won't even be able to surpass seventh early on in the season. So I'm gonna just say seventh. It doesn't change too much, so I'm just gonna go with 7 here and hope that later in the year we're able to surpass where we were last year. So 7th it is. All right, so from the parts screen, we're just gonna do a little bit of reliability. Hopefully we can get most of these above 75, and then we're gonna switch over, put the rest of the parts on, hopefully get them over 75, and then we're gonna design a new part, but I'm not quite sure what that is yet. All right, so from the part design screen, our gearboxes look close to what our engines look like last year, and our engines of, they're 7th best, but they're very lackluster compared to the rest of the field. So I think we're going to focus with gearboxes straight out the gate, or potentially even making just one brake, because we have a very big difference between our two brakes. Actually, no, I think I'm going to go with just making one brake, and then we're going to focus on some some acceleration with the gearboxes here, but we're going to make the brakes real quick. Alright, so from part design, we're going to build this one brake. It's going to be done 4 days before the race. It's going to have 75%, so yeah, doing the 15 to max makes it 1480. This makes it 1475, which isn't much of a difference, but yeah, we'll take that and we'll build this, and that might be the only brake we make this year. Alright, so this is going to be our part improvement allocation. We're just going to focus on getting these over 75, and then once they're over 75, we'll switch on the other parts, and then we'll have those all ready to go. We're only going to focus on one pair of brakes because we have that new pair that we're working on. So anyways, we're going to move forward. Alright, so from the mail screen, it's Ricardo's birthday. We can not do anything or we can do something, so we're just going to throw a party, spend the $100,000 even though we're crunching on cash, so celebrate getting that plus 10. Alright, so from the part design screen, this is going to be the gearbox that we're going to make. We just got the new brakes in, and we'll show you them after we make this gearbox. Alright, so from part improvement, this is going to be our new brake. It's 1435, 1475 max. The previous one that we had was 1279, so hopefully that'll even out the performance of the two cars. Reliability wise, we got a little bit of the parts kind of past that 70 mark, so we're going to be bouncing between those heading up to the race, but all the parts should be good for the first round. Alright, so heading out to Secure for the first race of the year. We do not have a goal sponsor, so don't have anything to select here. On 15, 10, 10, and I'm going to just show you the parts allocation just to kind of show you what they're doing coming in the first race of the season. We put the new brakes on Vettel's car, and Ricardo's got the better engine, Vettel's got the better front wing, Vettel's got the best gearbox, Ricardo's got the best rear wing, and he's also got the best suspension. Anyways, we're going to move on to Bahrain. Alright, so getting ready for the first race of the season, we're putting Ricardo and Vettel in the cars. Looks like Vettel is already starting to drop off pretty hard on his overall here, so unfortunately I think we might have to look at finding a replacement later in the year, but we're going to keep using him throughout the season and up until it becomes a problem. So we're going to focus on the soft tires, and yeah, we're going to just skip through practice. Alright, so following practice, we had Vettel and Ricardo 9th and 10th, and top of the board was George Russell. Alright, so getting ready for qualifying, we're going to put Vettel and Ricardo on quality level 2. We were unable to focus on the super soft tire. We're going to send them out just on some worn softs just for a quick little reader lap, and because we're still working on their setups. Vettel's close, Ricardo's a little bit off, but hopefully we can get that done quickly, and then we can send them straight back out for 2 flying laps. Alright, so Vettel rounds the corner to start his first lap. See where he ends up. He's going green first sector. First he's going to go green, but we're going to see he's 1.8 down, and he's going to cross the line in 9th. See where Ricardo ends up. He's 10th or 9th. Alright, so Vettel comes around the corner to start his lap. We're going to see if Ricardo can get to the line, and he does. Alright, we're going to see where Vettel goes. He is currently 10th. He's up first sector. He's up his second sector. Ricardo's down his first sector. Vettel crosses the line and goes 9th. Let's see where Ricardo goes. Ricardo one-ups him and goes 9th. Alright, so getting ready for the first round of the year, we have Ricardo on the soft tires. I feel like that's going to be the way to go here, but I wanted to at least risk something here with Vettel because we have that high deg tire rule that went through this year. I don't know what that means for the tire wear. It looks okay in practice, but just wanted to cover my bases here. If the tire wear is super bad here, Vettel might be able to go longer, might be able to do an easy one stop in this race, maybe even switch off onto a softer compound later on if he's able to stretch that far. But I think Ricardo's going to be a fairly straightforward strategy. Looking here at the setups, we got 98, 98 in the two of them. This is going to be our strategy off the line. Since we don't have that engine mode or fuel efficiency problem, I feel okay kind of pushing these guys here just for a little bit, and then pushing them to a whole lap down on the Delta, and just kind of seeing what they do here. But anyways, we're going to move on to the starting grid. So your starting grid for Sakir is George Russell, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, Robert Schwartzman, Liam Lawson, Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, Teo Pourchaire, Mick Schumacher, Dennis Hauger, Lance Stroll, Oscar Piastri, and Guan Yu Zhou. Alright, so here are the 5 red lights. We are one of 2 people on the soft tire with Ricciardo, so we're just going to keep an eye on Ricciardo here and see what he can do. He jumps all the way up into 7th place, all the way up into 6th place. Tire temperatures are skyrocketing. I have completely forgotten that we have refueling. Oh, Charles Leclerc has crashed out. So with the refueling, I think we're going to just push for 3 laps, and then we are going to go on to neutral. Alright, we're going to put Ricciardo onto conserve. We're going to put Vettel onto neutral. Hopefully these tire temperatures can go down for Ricciardo here because, yeah, they're looking pretty rough. Okay, when Ricciardo hits the line, we're just going to pause, and we're going to put him on to medium. We're going to have Vettel come across the line and go on to medium. Alright, looks like the tire temperatures are going down for both cars. Pourchaire has crashed out. Man, we're getting a lot of crashing and whatnot. Wonder if that has to do with the reliability of these cars. Yeah, so with Ricciardo being able to conserve here, I think we're going to put him onto neutral just for a little bit. Vettel's going to naturally kind of have that wear kind of dropping down, but we are losing tire wear faster than the cars in front of us are with the super soft tire, which is bizarre. Alright, so we're just going to conserve here for Ricciardo just to hopefully equal out here with the cars ahead of us. Their tire wear looks like on a completely different level. What are they doing? I mean, they're going conserve and neutral probably, but they're not conserving too much, but yet they're just keeping the tires under them a lot better. Alright, so we're going to have Vettel conserve just for a little bit here. We're going to need to get to about lap 17 here to make it a 1 stop. It looks like we're going to be able to do that pretty easily with Ricciardo. I think even with the tire wear that Vettel has, I wonder if it's just going to be worth it to kind of stick him out here super long, hope for a safety car or something. But he's going to have to pit for fuel. Alright, so Ricciardo's doing a good job here. We've kind of got the tires under control compared to everyone else around us. We're going to let him conserve until the tires look like they're about to get cold. Alright, so we have Perez behind us. We're able to keep Ricciardo ahead of Perez. We're going to have him go on to neutral. We're going to even let him go on to high here. We're going to do the same thing with Vettel. Just going to use some of this fuel up. We're going to just abuse the fact that we're going to be able to put more fuel into the car. So we're just going to try to use up some of this fuel here. Because the more fuel we burn means the less that we're going to have to take later. Alright, so we're getting really close to crossing over the halfway point here. Yeah, Vettel... We're going to make Vettel push. We're going to actually have him attack. We're going to let Ricciardo just go as long as we can have him go, and then we're going to pit him onto the super soft tire. Alright, so we're going to put Vettel back on to conserve after he's had his fun blitzing the field. Alright, so we're going to pit Ricciardo this time so we get the 14 laps to go, so we need to pit and put 13 laps in. So we're going to go 13 point... let's go 12.4. Yeah, so we're going to go that, and we're going to pit onto the super soft tire. Alright, and we're going to watch what Vettel does here. Vettel can go a little bit longer. We're actually going to have him immediately go back onto neutral. Alright, we're going to watch Ricciardo here when he pits. We're going to put him onto the medium engine mode. And we're going to see what happens when he leaves pit road. Alright, Vettel's pushing. He's still pushing. I'm going to just have him on overtake. Have him back up a little bit. There, we got a little bit of excess fuel for Ricciardo. Looks like our fuel's pretty good here. Alright, so we're going to have Vettel push. And then we're going to have Ricciardo conserve. And we're going to have him go onto medium. Alright, so we're going to pit Vettel this time. We're going to put him onto the super soft tire. Got 9 laps after pitting, so we're going to put in 8.8 on the fuel. We go balanced. Like I said, the super soft tire. We're going to go medium and neutral. Actually, we're going to conserve out of the box for him just so we can put him onto neutral here. So we have Ricciardo all the way up into 6th. Just going to fast forward a little bit here just to kind of see what we get. 9 laps remaining. Or how close are we on fuel with Ricciardo? I mean, we're pretty close here, so I'm not going to be too worried about that. We're going to put Vettel onto neutral. He's got to get by 2 cars that are within a couple seconds of him. Hopefully he can get by Ocon here. Ocon's going to have to pit. We're just going to leave. Ocon's pitting currently, so we're going to see if he can get by him here. He does, so he's up to 11th place. Yeah, Vettel is down on fuel compared to cars around him, but we're not going to do too much until we know we can. Yeah. Alright, we're going to have Ricciardo go on to neutral. Looks like he can maintain that for a little bit. Got to keep Perez behind us. Alright, we have 10th place Lawson ahead of us. Lawson on the cusp of his first ever F1 points. We're actually going to back up and low Vettel here for like a little bit, just so we have a little bit of tire temperature and stuff to use against him later on. Alright, we're going to go medium on the engine mode, and we're going to push with Vettel. Ricciardo's starting to get pretty high up on his temperatures. He's got the Red Bull all over him. So this should be 4 to go. We're going to go high on the engine mode just for a little bit. Alright, we're a little short on the fuel. I probably should have used some precaution there. We're going to go conserve. We're going to actually just back him up, so hopefully he can save just a lap of fuel here. Looks like it's going to be a little bit unfortunate here for us with him. If he's close enough here, because we got 2 laps to go at the line, so we're going to just keep an eye on the fuel here for Mr. Daniel Ricciardo. Alright, so we're at the point where I'm going to feel comfortable putting him onto neutral and just watching what he does here. We're going to put Vettel onto neutral. He's going to have to stay on conserve because he's going to have to save almost a quarter of a lap of fuel. Alright, we're going to watch Ricciardo here coming across the line. He's going to have just a lap of fuel left. Ah, man, we're going to be so close with Vettel. Vettel's 2/10 down on fuel. We had a good shot there. Maybe should have just put that little bit extra in. Ricardo looks like he's going to be good to hang on to 6th place here. Vettel's has got 0.2 fuel, 0.1 of fuel. Oh, he's going to run out just before the line. Got 0.05. He's on the straight. He's coasting, and he's out. But he comes across the line in 11th place. All right, so following our first race of the year, we had Leclerc crashing out. We had Pourchaire, his first race in the Alpine, him crashing out. You got Liam Lawson ahead of Sebastian Vettel. We just were stupid there. I should have just filled up Vettel a little bit ahead, and then maybe would have been able to get by Lawson there, not worrying about the fuel. But yeah, Lawson in his first time out in the AlphaTauri gets in the points. His teammate finishes dead last. We have Alonso, Gasly, Perez, and then we got Ricardo to finish 6th in the Williams. We've not had double points yet, but we were very, very close to getting that again. We got really close last year, I think, at Sao Paulo with Albon getting his first points. But ahead of us, we got Verstappen, Hamilton. Your podium is Sainz, Norris, and your winner for the first time in the simulation, and I guess in this entire timeline for George Russell would be his first victory. So looking at your driver's standings, we only had one race, so Vettel is the first one without a point. You got Ricardo with 8, and then you have Russell top of the board. All right, so your team's championship, we are currently 5th, so we did a good job to hit the expectation that we were expecting, but we did select the 7th or above, so we would have been good after that first race anyways. But yeah, we are behind Ferrari, Red Bull, McLaren, and Mercedes. That'd be cool if McLaren were up here kind of battling with Mercedes the whole way. Maybe see Lando Norris get an F1 title. All right, so from the team report screen, I usually don't show this, but yeah, we're gonna have this problem throughout the year of Ricardo and Vettel regressing. I'm already at the point where I'm wondering if we need to potentially move Vettel to a reserve seat. But yeah, it looks like we're definitely not going to have Ricardo and Vettel in the cars next year, and maybe even one of them might not make it throughout the year. So that's unfortunate to hear, but yeah, we're. I thought that they were going to be good with not having a super bad regression, but unfortunately, it does not look like we've avoided that problem. Leaving round 1 in Bahrain, we get $154,000. Alright, so for everyone interested, here are your Formula 2 results. As always, this is not messed with outside of the F1 stuff. I do mess with the F1 movements a little bit, but we've got Giovinazzi winning his first, or not winning his first, but winning the F2 race, getting the win, the fastest laps. You got Will Stevens and Rene Rast bringing off the podium. Looking through here, you got a fairly old top 5 for F2 standards with Nick Tandy and Neil Yanni. They got a bunch of interesting names. You got Pillow in F2. You got Graham Rahal. Yeah, your championship standings are the same as your race results, but looking at the team standings, we have Dams with 28 points out of Van Amersfoort, who their entire points total is brought forward by Giovinazzi. So all but Prema and Campos have scored points in the first round. Looking at Formula 3, you have Alvaro Parente finishing first with Campos, also getting the fastest lap. You've got Degrassi finishing second. You have Patrick Pasma finishing third on this last step of the podium. Yeah, you got Van Joitert fourth. You got Behrman, Bamber, Trulli, Auer, Van Dorn is in Formula 3. You got Gunther Martins, Abt, Crawford, Doss, Alesi, Anini, and Sergei Sorokin. That's a name I haven't thought about in a while. Looking at your driver's standings, it's the same as the race, so nothing too much to see here. Looking at the championship standings for the teams, you got Prema on top, you got Campos in second. Campos doing the same thing that happened with Giovinazzi in F2. All their points were scored by Parente. You got Carlin, Genzer, ART, all the way down to High Tech, who's the only non-point scorer after the first round. All right, so that concludes the first episode. We got a lot of good driver movements. I like how George Russell won that first race. That's cool that we get a new winner first time out. But drivers wise, I mean, it's all fairly back end heavy. We have Lawson going to AlphaTauri and him getting his first points in F1. Kind of a similar story to what happened with Hauger. You got Schwartzman staying at Alfa Romeo but being partnered with Ocon. You've got Zhou moving from being the reserve Alfa Romeo after being demoted, and having Pourchaire come in and steal his seat, getting a new shot at Haas, partnering Schumacher. We have Piastri, just an absolute talent, having to sit out those first 2 seasons, getting a seat now at Aston Martin alongside Lance Stroll. You've got Pourchaire moving to Alpine, getting a good shot there. So yeah, you got a lot of a lot of good movements here. You got a decent amount of good reserve drivers who come in as well. Potentially, you could see them get a shot in the seats if there's an injury or something happening. So, yeah, we're in a good spot here for the career. First race out, did a fantastic job. I was a little bit worried with kind of seeing what happened to Vettel during practice with his star rating dropping down so much just in that short period of time. But that's something we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout the season. But if you liked this episode, like, comment, all that dumb YouTube stuff, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.